Hey, this is John May, General Manager here at Petrale Roofing, and we are here with our episode 3 of Roofing Talks, which is a series that we're putting out to better educate and inform our customers and the community about their roofs and the roofing industry and lots of different topics. So we're excited about today's episode. I have Josh Blair, who is a roofing consultant for us here at Petrale Roofing. Josh has a real interesting history with us, and so we're going to talk about his path to his current position as a consultant with us. So thanks for joining us today, Josh. I'm excited. First question that I want to ask you is tell us about how you started and came to work at Petrale Roofing.
Sure. I want to say it was a year after COVID, so that would have been,
2021?
2021, 22, around there.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a job up at the ministry, and I was praying for something different, and Michael calls me out of the blue soon after that, and he was like, "Hey, you remember me? We played basketball like 5 or 6 years ago." And
That's awesome.
he was hiring for either a supervisor or a sales consultant. And with our second kid on the way, I was wanting something steady as I learned roofing, because I didn't really have any prior construction background or knowledge. So he was like, "Yeah, come on as a supervisor." So yeah, that was the beginning of 21 or 22, like March or around there. And then just started riding around with Dave and Michael and overseeing jobs, overseeing repairs, just learning everything about it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I had no experience.
Yeah,
So
Josh is a good example of what we like to do at Petrale, which is give people opportunities, train them up, raise them up. So you started as a supervisor, and this is something that we've talked about on previous episodes as well. But talk about what are the responsibilities of a supervisor. And it is a little bit of a unique role that we have at Petrale Roofing, that we offer supervisors on our jobs. But tell me a little bit about what that entails to be a supervisor at Petrale Roofing.
yeah, I would say there's a lot that entails, and I'm sure the SOPs for a supervisor, they're a lot better now than when I was a supervisor.
We're working on it.
But it's a very important job to make sure the process goes well. It's early in the morning, getting at the job site, double checking material orders, roofing work orders, overseeing that the crew's doing everything correctly. Lots of pictures, documenting overviews, documenting pictures before the roof starts, so that unforeseen items, or if the rare case a customer complains about something that was damaged, supervisors are very important to the whole project going smooth, from the crew to the salesman to the company. It's a very, very important role. So and then they could be supervising multiple jobs. So they're making sure, if they're short on material, they're running to the supplier to get it. They're making sure just everything goes smoothly. They're also checking in with homeowners to make them feel at ease and that their property is being cared for. Some people are there during their install at their house. Some people choose to leave. But either way, that communication, while the salesperson is communicating a lot of stuff, it is helpful. And our supervisors do a great job of introducing themselves, cleaning up trash if it goes into the neighbor's yard. So, there's a ton of stuff the supervisors do. I'm trying to think of everything.
It's fantastic, and I think that captures a lot of the main components there. And so that supervisor role is distinct and different from our roof consultant position, but it is something like both of those work hand in hand for our customers to make sure that process, that day of, goes as smooth as possible. What are some, so you didn't have a background in construction. You came and started working in that supervisor role. So what would you say are a couple big takeaways, either from a construction standpoint or just roofs in general? What were some of the big takeaways that you had while you were working in that role?
Yeah, and I didn't have any experience, and Michael was like, "Don't worry about it. You'll figure it out."
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just learning all the different styles of the roofs and all the components. And then just watching the crew do their work. There's a lot of different components and different styles of roofs. understanding flashings and
Yeah.
starter, hip and ridge, field shingles, just all the different things.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if that answers.
No, that's perfect. And then what would be some things from that supervisor perspective that you would like just a normal homeowner to know, if you're like, hey, here's some basics that, a homeowner isn't always up on the roof. They don't always understand what's going on up there.
Yeah.
For a homeowner from that supervisor side of like the
Yeah.
installation or the components, what would be some things that you would share with a homeowner?
Yeah,
from that perspective?
that's a better point. Yeah, just understanding because as I supervise stuff and got to see how Petrali, what our standards are. There's some roofs you come across where they'll either use plastic pipe jacks instead of metal ones that are better quality, or
Right.
they won't do starter on the rakes and they'll only do it at the eaves. So there's some little nuance that if you don't get up on your roof or you don't supervise a job,
Yeah.
there's some things that you would miss. We always paint our pipe jacks. Not every company does that. Maybe they only do it if the insurance is paying for it.
Yeah.
Same with drip edge. You can get non-painted galvanized, but we always do, 2x4 painted. So
Yep.
kind of, just some nuance in the materials and how it's installed that
Yeah.
you can cut some corners.
When we look at the roofs that we install, we really look at that as a roofing system, not just individual components and how can we, cut corner here or do a cheap component over here. When we look at installing a roof, it's like we want to install a Petrali roof, which is high quality at every level. And one of the reasons why we do that is we warranty our roofs. We have just a standard 5-year workmanship warranty that we put on. And so we want to install a really high quality roof so that we're not having to come back out and fix repairs or fix issues in the future, because we care about the customer, we care about the product, we care about the roof. There's elements to that roof, that Petrali roof that we're putting on, that go above and beyond, and it's just a step above on the standard level to make sure that that roof that's going on there is a quality roof. And then we put our name behind it as well. And we're local and we're going to be around forever. And so if somebody gives us a call and say, hey, there's an issue here, which Josh said happens rarely, but if there is an issue, we come out and fix it. So you worked as a supervisor. Talk about that transition, when that happened and how that came about of moving from a supervisor to a roof consultant.
Sure. So yeah, I'd been in the supervisor role about a year. I remember getting lunch with Michael early in 2023. Just kind of expectations. What are you thinking about for the year?
Yeah.
And I was thinking about sales, or I mentioned possibly production, but Charlie's way better at that than me. And then Michael was kind of like, I think sales would be really good for you.
Yeah.
And I did have some previous experience. Before COVID, I had a sales job for 3 to 4 years. So I was very comfortable being in a homeowner's house.
Yeah.
So I think it prepared me for this.
Awesome.
But what he was saying was when a storm hits, we can transition you in there. And yeah, about 3 or 4 months later in 2023, summer of 2023, that big storm hit and several other storms hit.
Yes.
And I started knocking doors. The phones were ringing off the hook as well.
Right.
And then I still was supervising a little bit because I was one of our main supervisors at the time.
Gotcha.
But Michael was very helpful in helping with that transition.
Yeah.
And it was a good transition, and I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah. That summer of 23 was
Yeah.
kind of the last big storm that happened in Colorado Springs. And just want to pause a minute to talk about how, our approach to those types of scenarios, because when that happens and there is hail that can compromise people's roofs and hail damage, and you want to be able to have a roofer that will walk with you through that insurance process, because it is important. And our approach to that is kind of like the heart behind doing these types of roofing talks type episodes, where we want to educate and we want to make sure that you're a key part of the process and you're informed. We don't want to keep homeowners in the dark. We want to make sure that they know what's going on, what we plan to do with the roof, how we can help and support them with the insurance company. And those times can be, it can be a little stressful for a homeowner dealing with insurance. It can be confusing. It's not something that comes up a lot. You're not filing insurance claims every week, so it's the process. It can be challenging, and so that's why having a roofer, especially a local roofer like Petrale, who's well experienced, has been through lots of storms in the past and have helped thousands of, if not tens of thousands of customers here in the Springs. Having a roofer like that walk with you through that process is really important. With your transition to roof consultant, what are some things that you would share with with the audience, with a homeowner, on what they need to know, what they should know, what they need to be aware of through that insurance process, through a storm, they got some hail damage, they think their roof needs to be replaced. What are some things from your experience? Because now that was 23, so now it's 2026, so you're coming up on 3 years in this role. You've walked lots of homeowners through the process. What are some things you would share from your experience with a homeowner?
Customer calls in, I'm out there, knock on the door. They think they have hail damage. First thing I'm going to do is, ask them if they were there, if they saw anything, took pictures or videos. Mm-hmm. Typically, I'll look up permit information before even getting there. I'll also look up storm data. We have different software that can show the size of hail. Mm-hmm. And then another thing I'll ask them is who their insurance carrier is. Some carriers are more strict on date of loss requirements. I know Dan and Jake have touched on some of this, so this might be a little redundant. And basically what I'm telling them is what insurance is looking for. Yeah. They look for anywhere from 6 to 14 hits per square on all the different major slopes. Mm-hmm. And then I'm also telling the homeowner that I'm looking for kind of evidence that the damage was here, and soft metals, dents in the gutters, dents in the metal vents, paint chipped on the siding, window screens. I'm looking for evidence that tells a story that there was a hailstorm here. Yeah. And then once I kind of explain that, then I get up on the roof, inspect it thoroughly, 21-point inspection, all the flashings, take pictures, videos, and then when I get off the roof, I show them what I'm seeing. Mm-hmm. And then if they do need to file a claim, I tell them to please check their deductible and see if they have that in their budget. Deductibles are rising now, so they can be 1%. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of the process, asking them who they have. Yeah. And then,
Excellent.
That's the first part of it.
What are some other ways you provide support with the homeowner as they're going through the process? If they're looking at like a claim summary or things, again, things that a homeowner isn't used to looking at or reviewing. Sure. How do you provide support through that claim process?
Sure. So after they filed the claim, I'll let them know to keep me updated. When the adjuster's coming, I'm happy to meet the adjuster out there to be on the same page as far as damage that we're seeing. Mm-hmm. And then once the adjuster makes a decision, let's say they paid for the new roof and gutters and different things. Mm-hmm. Once they get the estimate or the summary, I will reach out to them. We'll sit down or go over it line by line. And we're looking at all the line items, RCV, depreciation, ACV, and then some policies are ACV, so there's non-recoverable depreciation. So I'm helping them navigate. We look at these things every day, but to a homeowner that this happens to once every 10 years, it can be confusing and a lot of legalese. Yep. So we just help them walk through it, show them what they're paying, and then from kind of the supervisor to sales side of how that integrates and how that helped me is, looking at the components they're paying for and then letting them know that, hey, insurance is paying for 15-pound felt, we're automatically going to put synthetic. Yeah. You have plastic pipe jacks, we're going to put metal ones. You have plastic, they're paying for plastic turtle vents, but we're going to put metal turtle vents. So letting them know all the, how we as Petrale do it, whether insurance is paying. So we're always trying to add more value. If they're not paying for starter on the rakes or, we still do that. We take the hit on that. We're not charging the customer extra. Good. Even if the pipe jacks aren't painted, we're going to paint them. I'm pointing out those discrepancies and what their current roof system is compared to what we're going to do. Right. at that price.
Right. Even like painting pipe jacks, it's such a little thing,
Yeah.
but it really just increases the look of the roof. It makes it just look better from the road or from the backyard or whatever. And so those are just those little things that we like to do at Petrale just to kind of elevate that experience that the homeowners are having. And we really do see that roof as a product. It's not just something we're trying to get through, get over with, and get done with. We really want to put a good roof on people's houses that's functional, obviously, that doesn't leak, doesn't have any problems like that, but also just looks good. So that's something that can increase the value of your home. Enjoy it when you're out in the backyard mowing your lawn and you look up at that roof and be like, that's a Petrale roof. Look at those painted pipe jacks. Oh, yeah. Look how good they are. Josh has been doing a great job for us on the roofing consultant side, and I hope you see that and hear that from his experience from the supervisor side coming over to the roof consultant side. There's a lot that goes into a roof. Lots of components, lots of things that are there that just a normal homeowner might not know exists on a roof. They just look up, they see shingles, they see a little vent type things up there. But to a normal homeowner, it's just a bunch of shingles up there. But there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of pieces, a lot of components. And when you have somebody like Josh, who's looking at walking with you through the insurance process, through the claim process, looking at the summary with you, you're going to be in a better position to maximize what you're getting from that insurance claim. But then also with Petrale, we go above and beyond to make sure that even if insurance isn't paying for something, we have our standards that we set, that we put on the roof, that we just, it either looks good or it's a better component for you as well. Anything else to close that you'd like to share?
Obviously, take a look at our reviews.
Yeah.
Look at, we're in the community. We've been here a long time. Mm-hmm. We give back with our hearts and hammers. It's a great company to be a part of. There's a lot of roofing companies in town, but I would say do your research, and obviously we'd love to help you with any of your roof projects. Yeah.
Excellent. So thanks for joining us today on Roofing Talks. I hope you learned something from Josh. That was really awesome to hear about your journey through Petrale. And thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. If you want to have this Petrale experience and see the difference in how we approach insurance claims or approach installing your roof, give us a call, 719-375-8773. We can schedule that inspection. We'll get up on your roof, see the condition of it. We are your local roofer here in the Springs, here in the Pikes Peak region, and we want to help, we want to serve with quality, with excellence, as we've heard today from Josh. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.